Hello my friends, today we are talking about the filter method in JavaScript. Filter method is a method you can use on arrays to filter out elements based on some condition. So I will copy one of these arrays in the console of Google Chrome and we will go through an exploration of different ways you can filter out elements and how exactly this method works. So if I put this array in here and I call filter on it, to the filter method you need to pass a callback function, and this callback function has to get at least one argument, which is the current element, but you can also have another argument which is the index of this element in the array, and also you can pass a third argument that is the array itself. Those two last arguments though they are optional. So what this filter method does, it basically will run this function for each element of the array one by one, starting with the first one and then ending with the last one. And for each element it will evaluate this function. If this function returns true, then this element will be in the filtered version of this array. Now the filter methods return a new array. It doesn't change the original array, it just returns a new array with some elements filtered out, or maybe no elements filtered out, depending on whatever this expression returns. So if the function returns true, this element is added to the result array. If it doesn't return true, it's not added. So let's see, if we make this function return true, you can see that it basically adds in the result all the elements, because it will always return true, so all the elements are added. If I return here false, it's an empty array because it returns false for all of them. Let's see if I return undefined. Again, it's empty, it's not true. What if I don't return anything? Again, it is empty, because when you don't return nothing in a function, it basically returns undefined. So obviously you won't want to return true or false, because that's not filtering. You would want to put a condition here based on the element you have. That way you can filter out depending on whatever this element is. So let's say in this, now basically you need this parenthesis if you need to do some logic, and only after that return true or false. If you only have like an expression here, you can skip the parentheses and just do an expression. So let's say we want to filter out all the elements that are under 0, so we want just the elements that are 0 or above. So what we want to say is element is bigger or equal to 0, right? So now when this functions has the argument 1, it checks 1 is bigger or equal to 0, yes, so it puts it here. 2, the same, it puts it here. 3, the same, it evaluates to true, so it puts it here. Now when it has -1, is it bigger than equal to 0? No. So because this evaluates to false, it doesn't add it, and it skips to the next one. Again, this one is not 0 or higher than 0, so it doesn't add it, and so on. So that way we filter all the elements that are lower than 0. Now let's take this example array from here, and let's see how we can use the second argument. Now this will be a little bit of silly example, because you probably won't really need to do something like that in real life, but let's say that we pass the index as well, and let's say that we need to filter out all the elements for which the element is not equal to its index in the array. So we can say we want to only have the elements that are equal with their index. So element equals index, right? So let's see. We can see that all these elements 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in their position, they're equal to their index, but all the other ones after are not equal, so they are filtered out. Now let's see another example of what we can do. For example, let's say we have an array of countries like this, and we want to only have in the filter array the countries that start with the letter B, for example. So again, we take the element, and if you take just the element, you don't even need to use parentheses. You can just say element and then return. And here what we will do, we will say element of 1, so the first letter of this element should be equal to B, right? So if this evaluates to true, then it will add it to the filter, right? So let's see, element 1 equal B. Okay, what are we missing? Okay, so there's an error there. What we've done is okay, so what have we done here? Let's just refresh, because there's an error here. I'm just gonna copy this again and delete everything, right? Delete everything. So we want to have this and filter, get the element and return true only when the first letter, well, the first letter is actually element of 0, not element of 1, because in this indexes start from 0 in arrays, equal to B, right? And we can see in the result array we only have the countries that start with B, okay? And you can use these filter methods on all kinds of array. We have, for example, arrays that have objects in there, and we can write an expression based on some properties of the object. So let's say we want to only keep the elements from the array. In the filter array, we only want the elements for which the ID is the same as the age. So we can say filter, and again we take the element and we want to add it in the new array only if element.id equal element of age. And we can see that in the result we only have one where the ID is equal to the name. So I hope you understood all these examples. If you have any question about this, or you want to contribute with something, you want to add something, you can leave something in the comments. If you enjoyed the video and you learned something, please like and subscribe. I will post a lot more of these videos in the future. And obviously this was recorded as a helper for one of the videos I will post in the coding exam series. Alright, goodbye for now. See ya.